Hey everyone, good afternoon. Welcome back to Cam Talk Stocks. Today in this video, we're going to talk about the market on Wednesday, February 10th, and namely just looking at the cannabis sector, as that was a huge play today. Tons of good stocks to play. All had very similar charts. The whole sector is incredibly hot right now. It's kind of going to be the next squeeze-ish type play. They've been beaten down for several years, but Washington D.C. is talking about regulating it federally, which opens up a huge avenue for potential profit for these companies, and it's getting a lot of traction from retail traders. If you just look at quick news here, just go to the top. So we'll just type in TLRY, Tilray. If you got right here, just 1245 social blast cannabis stocks rally as Reddit Wall Street bets forum focuses on sector. I don't think that's 100% genuine. I think a ton of eyes have already been on this. I mean, hedge funds have been in these stocks for years. So I think it's kind of anything that has huge gains, makes big rallies now, is going to be directed to Wall Street Bets, Reddit, or similar communities where they can push the blame on these other companies for these huge squeezes where price doesn't necessarily match fundamentals whatsoever, and it's all going to be like technical momentum type trades. But I think we'll see a lot more of this for any hot sector. And as I'm not going to talk about them in this video, but there's a ton of like low float stocks, like your typical names you see every couple years pop up. They started moving this last week, especially today. Example, which I had in the news ticker before this, BPTH, Biophase Pharma. They're typical. They'll try to move on any type of momentum, and they spiked like crazy today and sold off. So those plays are going to be hot right now as everybody tries to get a piece of this retail momentum, get some of that money into their companies, do an offering, get an injection of capital to sustain their operations and keep moving forward. So we'll go to another chart page. So this is a chart page that I typically use first thing in the morning. So the ones on the left have pre-market, so this column and this column have pre-market hours. The other two columns don't, and so I like to use them as a mismatch for the moving averages. Probably make a video about this upcoming weekend, about how you use it first thing in the morning to look for bounce areas. But we'll go to another one page here. This is usually my main page if I'm not actively trading something. So on the left, futures, S&P, SPY, S&P 500 ETF, can't speak. And then I just have it set up right now just to show correlation today. So all the main indices were really choppy today. So if you look here on the left, we'll go to the top. So this is the futures, but right at 6:30 in that first hour of the day, the SPY, you see it here, set new all-time high, and we get a huge sell-off right from 392 down to 387.5 in about an hour time frame. Then we get a bounce, get some midday momentum, and then sold off in the last hour. But if you look at like all the charts, I mean, it was stock market wide, which followed the market. Everything was following the market in the morning. So these marijuana stocks that were hot pre-market. So all six of these are different marijuana plays, and we'll talk about each of them individually here in a second. But you see all have a big red candle start the day, big sell-off, find support, and either they rip higher, move kind of sideways, and then after hours right now, they're all ripping up. Which I thought right at the beginning of after hours, you'll see here like ACB, Tilray, looked like they were going to get kind of weak, but they bounced and went on a 10-minute tear here. Tilray went from 61 up to 74 in 10 minutes after hours, so momentum's going to be there. But we'll go down to individual charts now. So let's look at let's start with Tilray, because that was still the strongest name today. Go to the daily. So we have here a big pin bar, right? So sold off, and it immediately gets bought back up. So today, big sell off in the morning, buying strength comes in, new high volume, 189 million shares. So this could be a huge, well, it is probably its daily volume record in terms of total price, but upward momentum is going to keep going. So if we go out 3 years ago, right? So this is split adjusted. That doesn't show the split on here, but they did split in the past. So we're kind of coming up in here. If we can get to this, right? So after hours already in the mid 70s, so we're right in here. So we'll look to see if we can get through this $80 resistance from, what is that, end of 2018, right? So September 2018 was a huge spike in cannabis when it first came out and was able to be traded on stock markets. And then the cool off period now, 3 years later, running similar to Bitcoin. But big theme this year is probably Bitcoin, blunts, and betting. So those are three sectors you want to be following. So back to daily pin bar. Right now, after hours getting strong, RSI is high, but looks like this thing could keep moving, especially after hours. And so sell off, all similar charts. Found support in the afternoon, right? So good dip buys off the 50, another one off the 22. Held the 22 in the after hours, moves up higher into the 70s. ACB also had similar strength later in the day. So if you go to its daily, similar, got a pin bar but it's green, so even more bullish, and its RSI is less, only at 80. So I think ACB is probably going to be a big play tomorrow before its earnings come out after hours tomorrow. So that'll be a top watch for me for sure. I can always click the 1 minute. So you go to 5 here. Chart's going to look the same, similar strength in the afternoon as Tilray, but you'll see some did not have that strength in the afternoon. So APHA, it had one of the bigger movements up after hours yesterday. You know, going from 23, hit 32 right off the open. Pretty strong sell-off. Actually went red for, 2 candles on the day, then 10-minute period. Bounced right back, so buying strength came in from the close area of yesterday, and we stay above it and getting this pop here in the after hours. So we go to the daily, right? So bar's not as bullish, got a little fill down here into yesterday's green candle, didn't get below the halfway mark. Buyers came in, pushed it back up higher. RSI's up at 90, so could be seeing this kind of plateau and not have as much strength as the others. Go to CGC, the day after their earnings. The chart's very similar to APHA, wasn't as strong as Tilray or Aurora, but similar kind of candle. Couldn't get halfway down, pushes it back up higher, closes above yesterday's close. So still bullish sentiment here. 84 RSI, so not as high as the others, but still seeing some strength after hours. And then another Zyne Pharmaceuticals wasn't one I talked about this morning, but they do more of a medical play, looking for medical applications of marijuana. But you look on the daily, so the last 6 days just straight green candles from 3.5. Now we're sitting at $9. This one being a lower price did have some more volatile moves during the day, right? So this pullback here, 10 minutes, right? So big pullback, bought up 7.4. Another big sell-off here, right at 12.20, but finding strength here in the after hours as well. So this could move higher. I mean, the RSI's high, everything's high up on it, but as the sector keeps running, it's going to keep running. And then the one stock that I would say is kind of oops, I have it. Let me type it back in so you can see it. I saw this one quite a bit. So you can go from your chat room pumps or say Reddit or whatever, but mainly from Twitter on this one. Down 14 cents back in November, now at $3. So that's what, 18 times your money. So big move today, seeing after our strength. Almost 2.5 billion shares traded, so in and out as liquid as could possibly be. Getting pumped up, big run. You can look on the 5 minute here. So chart's a little bit different than the others in regards to the early morning, right? So didn't get the pullback right away off the open. got it about an hour later when the other ones dropped as well, but continued strength all afternoon. It gets like the 12.20 sell off here, bounces off the 50. Now we're up in the $3 range. This thing could keep going. I mean, it's long-term chart. If we're looking here, we do have some resistance in this $4 range, so see if we can break $4 tomorrow. So as you can see, a lot of these marijuana stocks have been very volatile, and if you don't have the ability to day trade or don't want to swing trade something that can move 50-40% a day, there is a marijuana ETF. It's Thcx, and so it's, if you want a piece of the sector to get the movements with less volatile swings, you can get in this. So Tilray was up 50% today. This is only up 14%, but still you're going to have great odds of compounding returns, right? So back in September it's at $8, now it's at $30, so that's almost 4 times your money. So still great growth potential. So if you would like to buy something, so buy and hold long term in the marijuana cannabis industry, this ETF would be a great idea, great play to put some money in. Dollar cost average your way up as the sector continues to get hot, and if it gets legalized, you could see a big boom in your return. But if you just go back to daily, right? So chart's very similar to the others. Go on the 5-minute today, very similar today. Sell off in the morning, get the rise all afternoon, and now we're up still after hours. So that was mainly what I was looking at today, was the cannabis industry. I think it's still going to be hot, especially going into the end of the week with ACB, Aurora's earnings tomorrow afternoon. Let me know what you were looking at, which ones you were playing. And as always, if you could, leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.